Well, my presentation here was to be about the role of live wildlife cams. I'm most known for the eagle cams, the Hornby Island eagle cam and others, and we've got them live on osprey nests, and we have been experimenting with a whole range of ecological interpretations. We've had underwater cameras, honing down there's technical problems, but we've got that all honed down to take these underwater images, broadcast them by microwave down inlets and back and forth so that we can pick it up and finally get it into the web system for delivery to the public. What we're now at the stage of doing is saying, hey, we've got this incredible content package. It's the public's package. It's the public's animals. It's the public's wildlife. And so we simply are wanting to make this available to the public and get it most effectively used in the schools. And why I'm here is that the Watershed Society, or the Rivershed Society, is a coordinating kind of group of many other different river-oriented stewardship groups. But there's hundreds. There are literally perhaps 250 organizations alone on the Fraser. What we want to do is say, hey, here's going to be underwater looks at these different spawning salmon species. Here's what happens on the surface around them. Here's the waterfowl, the big concentrations of the swans and the ducks and the geese. And then as soon as the spawn takes place, you have moving in the bears and 1,000 eagles. Right here on the reserve we're at today, the Chehalis Reserve, I've counted 1,460 eagles while I stood in one place. I just made a circle, and those 1,400, well, my God, that's an impressive thing. I mean, most North Americans, let alone Canadians, I mean, just don't recognize that we have some of these incredible resources. There's millions of salmon go up this particular little river here. And part of that life cycle story is that salmon carcass is to be eaten not just by bears and occasionally even wolves here, but of course by all this great numbers of eagles, and then of course the gulls and the salmon, or the swans. And one of our underwater cameras picked up how when a salmon carcass was drifting downstream, the mergansers would come, and underwater we got all these shots of how the mergansers tore the flesh out of these dead fish to eat it. I mean, nobody's really seen that kind of thing before. The next thing you see another live salmon going past the underwater camera, and right behind it, bang, is a seal. I mean, it's all part of the system, and here it is live. I mean, we named our project initially Life in the Slow Lane because we're also used to seeing the Disney where everything happens bang, bang, snap, and it's not really the way life unfolds. It's much slower. But my goodness, when you waited and watched the reality of some of this stuff, you become much more attuned to what's going on. And then when these dramatic moments happen, wow, they have a much bigger impact. And that's why we ended up with these millions upon millions of people following our live cams. And so our objective is to say, hey, we've got this tool. Let's take this group, that group. Here, you can use this tool. You use it to help foster more interest in your group. Relate what you're doing to something maybe to get more people involved and to get more groups, in a sense, showing a stewardship and a relationship and an indebtedness to the river and the life in the river, because everything in the world is a drainage system, from the water falling on the mountaintops to as it works down through the river system to dumps out in the ocean. And part of our interest is, of course, in orcas at the other end of the river, but it's all part of the river. It's the repository, the ocean. So that was my role here today, is to try to say to you, here's a product. I would like you to take that product and use it in forums and discussion forums between yourselves and the public, get more people involved, use it in the schools, and we're simply making it available as free of charge so you can utilize it. We want you to develop programs around it in your community.